Hey guys, Barrett here from Pickleball Kitchen. Today we're talking about the third shot. Have you ever been in a situation on the court where your third shot is just falling apart? Nothing works, nothing is going your way. Well, there's probably some common patterns that are going on here, but I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on what you can do when you're on the court to help alleviate this issue. Let's get started. The first thing you must do when everything is just falling apart is focus on your opponent's body language and the way they're swinging at the ball. Okay, so Linda's gonna feed me a shot here and I'm gonna hit it, and I want you to notice, okay, what kind of stroke was that? That was a top spin ground stroke, super traditional. Now watch this stroke. Okay, what kind of stroke was that? That was a forehand slice. Those two balls are gonna behave completely different from each other. So if you see this on a return or this on a return, and by the way, that's also with the backhand as well, that's going to change the way the ball behaves. Backspin is going to bounce a little bit lower, most likely. It's going to have spin on it. You're going to have to hit it higher. Top spin, you're going to have to hit it a lot softer. But that leads into my next point here, is to focus on the trajectory and the behavior of the ball. So what I want you to do is watch my body language and watch the way that I'm prepping for the shot. So once again, Lynn's going to hit a shot to me. And what I'm doing is I'm watching the ball as it's coming over and I'm getting my feet in position. So I want you to watch my body language. I want you to watch what I'm doing as this ball is coming over. Do you notice what I was doing there? I'm still in my ready position and I'm moving my footwork, getting in position, and I'm paying attention to the way that ball is behaving. So I'm focusing really intently on the ball and I'm letting it bounce, getting in position first and foremost. That way, I'm studying the behavior of the ball, and thus I know how to approach the ball properly. In terms of the actual stroke itself, what's probably happening is you're hitting the ball too high, or even worse, you're hitting into the net. And what we have to do is we have to do just a basic little ground stroke. Once we study the ball, once we get our feet in place, once we're ready to go, just hit a basic little ground stroke down the middle. That is going to be your highest percentage play. Don't worry about it landing in the kitchen. Don't worry about the top spin. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just hit a light ground stroke down the middle. Again, remember, this is when your wheels have fallen off. Okay, this is how you get back on track. So again, here comes the ball, watching it, and just do a basic ground stroke right down the middle of the court. This section of the net right in the middle is the lowest part. So it's just going to give you the highest percentages possible so that you can get your confidence back. Okay, so again, get ready, position, and just do a nice little ground stroke like that. Notice how slowly I'm swinging. Let me give you a little comparison here, okay? I want you to watch this ground stroke. Okay, do you notice how violently I swung at the ball? That's not what we're doing. We're not doing a third shot drive, okay? That shot was a little wild. Do this instead. Take 50% off of that stroke and just hit a nice little thing over. Nice and easy. What you will begin to realize over time is that the more you take off of these ground strokes, the better they are. It's a weird thing, but it's how it works. Now, it's not just the third that's important, but the fifth shot as well. This is step 4. Get ready for that fifth. So again, we're just going to get in position here, do a nice little ground stroke, and then come in for that fifth shot. Start making your way into that kitchen. Do not be timid. Do not just stand here on the baseline. You're wasting your shot. If you don't come in, you're not actually doing it a third at all, really. Okay, so again, nice little ground stroke. That was a little high. Who cares? I got it over. The big pain here, guys, is hitting those shots into the net. Just get it over. Now I need to stop and talk about something very, very important. This is an extremely important concept that you need to understand, and when you really begin to assimilate this into your mind, it will change the way you think about this topic. You may be wondering at this point, I'm sitting here watching a video about the third shot, but yet Barrett's talking about the fifth shot and coming into the kitchen? Like, what is that about? Well, it has everything to do with it, because the third shot is not the third shot in a vacuum. Okay, so if you were to hit your third shot over, and then your opponent hits their fourth shot over to you, and then you repeat that third shot, you made no progress. If you did not come into the kitchen at all, you effectively didn't make any progress. Now, this excludes any kind of overheads or anything like that, right? But if they do these soft little lobby things back to you, then you're not making any progress. It's so important to come into the kitchen and to start to hit those shots in the transition zone. Remember, there's no such thing as no man's land. That is not a pickleball thing. It's just the transition zone. You can stand there as much as you want as long as you're understanding and you have the awareness of what your opponent is able to do with the shots that you're giving them. So, if I'm hitting a third shot and my opponent hits a fourth shot back, what I'm trying to understand is I'm trying to understand his ability in terms of his own shots and where I need to be to get that fifth shot. Because if my wheels are falling off, the last thing I want to do is sit back there and keep doing the same third shots over and over again. Because I'm just doing the same thing that's driving me crazy. That's why coming into the kitchen can become so powerful. Because instead of doing those difficult third shots, you're instead doing fifth shots from the middle of the court. Okay, so try to get this into your head a little bit. It'll really change the way you think, and that will translate into your gameplay. What I want you to imagine is imagine you're in a drilling scenario. You're doing some kind of drilling session with a friend or something. Imagine that you hit 50 cross-court dinks back and forth. Imagine 50 of those without hitting one in the net or hitting it out or anything like that. Now imagine doing 50 drop shots over and over and over again from the baseline. Imagine doing 50 of those. Which one is more difficult? The third shot, obviously, way more difficult to do. So ask yourself, do I want to hit these fourth shots, sixth shots, eighth shots that my opponent is giving me? Would I rather hit them from the baseline or from the middle of the transition zone? You want to hit them from the middle of the transition zone. And thus, we're in this kind of weird sort of catch-22 situation where if you do want to hit those fifth shots and those sevenths and those ninth dinks from the middle of the transition zone, you first have to have a pretty decent third. But you can't have a decent transition experience to the kitchen unless you actually start to move forward. But you can't do that unless your third is good. See how this works, right? These things work in tandem with each other, and you have to learn that balance. But staying back on the baseline, unless they're hitting smashes at you, right? Staying back there on the baseline is not going to do you very good. So that leads into the fifth tip. Start getting to the kitchen. Now, if you begin to feel that confidence coming back, first of all, congratulations. You've done an amazing thing on the court, but you got to start getting yourself into that kitchen. Okay, so I'm feeling good. Same ground stroke. Nothing has changed. Okay. Start getting yourself into that kitchen. Get up there. Awesome. That is your goal. You want to get to that kitchen, obviously. So this is a 5-step process here that you can use on the court when your third shots are just falling apart. Focus on your opponent's body language so that you can try to understand how that ball is going to travel on its way over to you. Focus intently on that ball. Focus on the trajectory so that you can get your feet in position. Do a 50% ground stroke and aim for the middle of the court. Don't do any fancy things. No top spin, no fancy backspin, nothing like that. Don't try to drop it in like 2 feet back from the net, anything like that. 4, get ready for that fifth shot. And then 5, try to convert and get yourself to that kitchen line. Guys, I hope this helps you out. It can feel so bad when things are falling apart. I've been there. I have totally been there many times. And this is a great way to get yourself back on track. I hope it was helpful. Pickleballkitchen.com if you need help with anything else. Feel free to watch as many videos as you want. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.